What's up, guys? I hope you all are having a great day today, just full of so much positivity and happiness, dude. Because I have some very important questions to ask you guys real quick. Do you enjoy video games? Do you enjoy looking back at the end of each year and celebrating all the great gaming accomplishments that took place throughout the year? Do you enjoy watching a bunch of 40-year-old neckbeards on the internet argue over which games they think should or shouldn't be Game of the Year? Well, then I have the perfect show for you. And that, of course, is the Game Awards 2023. Because aside from being a 3-hour mobile gaming ad exposition, the Game Awards really serves no purpose other than to impression farm a bunch of dipshit brain-dead fanboys and normies into trying to convince them that somehow Geoff Keighley's opinion on what game is or is not Game of the Year somehow fucking matters and should matter to anyone who's played video games throughout the year. Because I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret here, because the people who make up this industry panel that Geoff Keighley turns to decide the winners of these different awards are a bunch of loser games journalists, guys. We're talking about motherfuckers in their 30s and 40s living with roommates in San Francisco who at most are fucking cat moms and literally probably have neon colored hair and pronouns in their bio. And these are the people that a lot of people put importance on when it comes to their opinion on what game is or isn't the Game of the Year in whatever category you want to look at. Like, I could not imagine actually taking the opinion of a fucking video games journalist seriously in 2023, much less ever, especially when you consider the fact that these motherfuckers are literally working for a basically slave wage salary so that they can claim on social media that they're a games journalist, dude, and they're so much more informed than you are to talk about a literal digital children's fucking toy like video games. So I say that to say this: the only person's opinion that should matter when it comes to the Game of the Year is your own, because no one can tell you whether or not you enjoyed one game or another more than you actually did yourself, and no one can tell you what your favorite game is that year. And in all honesty, this entire fucking grift of the Game Awards is the same shit that Hollywood and the music industry do every single year in order to, you know, give each other pats on the back for the people who toe the fucking party line, promote the message, and support the current thing.
Hey, what's up, guys? Just so you know, respect trans kids, affirm trans rights, stand with Ukraine, Black Lives Matter. We stand with these causes. Spread in your community love, peace, and happiness. Black Lives Matter. Stand with Ukraine. Trans visibility is valid.
I don't understand why anyone gives a fuck about these industry circle jerks, dude. I mean, look at the fact that Hogwarts Legacy, literally one of the highest rated games this year, arguably one of my favorite games this year personally, and on top of that, the highest selling game this year did not get nominated for a single category because the creator of the Harry Potter franchise, keep in mind, not even someone who actively worked on the development of the game, the creator of the Harry Potter franchise said that a bunch of dudes in dresses and lipstick are not actual women. You know, that is the level we've reached now, that you literally will not be qualified for a singular nomination in the video game industry because the creator of the franchise that you bought a license to make your video game based on said that women are born women and not created on the surgeon's table. You know, what a controversial statement in modern day, man. But that's the level we've reached at this point. These fucking industry circle jerk retards can't see past their own political fucking bullshit that they don't even realize that the development studio that made this game has nothing to do with J.K. Rowling outside of the fact that they're basing their game on the Harry Potter universe. So that's the level of just political fucking dog shit that goes in to the Game Awards and the overall thinking that a lot of these industry dipshits have when it comes to deciding who wins or loses. So again, I ask the question, why does anyone even care about this, dude? It's a complete and total waste of your time. You are literally just getting marketed to for 3 hours under the veil of an award show so that Geoff Keighley can count his super shekels at the end of every single year and make a shitload of money. And the video game industry gets to promote a bunch of slop games that promote the message that they all agree with on a political basis. That is literally it. It is one massive psyop, dude. They're trying to convince you that you like games that you actually fucking don't, that their opinion is somehow more valid than your own, and then on top of that, they force feed you a bunch of fucking ads because everybody's excited to see the new announcements that are literally going to be posted 10 seconds later on YouTube anyway, that you could just update your sub feed every once in a while and watch in your own free time. But, you know, that is the beauty of marketing and pretending to be an authority on something when in reality, Geoff Keighley and his industry panel would literally be a bunch of losers in life working minimum wage jobs with no practical skills whatsoever because all they do is leech off of this industry and need your attention span to do so. So that is all I ask, guys. In looking at these nominations, keep in mind the fact that the people who are supposedly experts and, you know, authorities on these nominations and awards are a bunch of brain dead morons, as DSP would put it, and overall should not be taken seriously by anyone who actually enjoys video games. At the end of the day, it is solely up to you to determine what is or is not your game of the year, and all that matters is that you're enjoying the video games that you're playing at the end of the day. So with that massive fucking rant out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these nominations. So our first nominee for Game of the Year 2023 is Alan Wake 2. Now, this game to me is absolutely horrible, but it's the type of game that games journalists love because there's not much gameplay to it whatsoever. It's mainly a walking simulator with some piss-easy puzzles and obnoxious caseboard management, which involves putting pictures and sticky notes up on a board for 20 minutes at a time. You know, the combat is minimal. The horror aspects involve nothing more than a bunch of PNG jump scares, which is just beyond cringe. And overall, the game was completely buggy, broken, and should have never been released in the state that it did. But of course, journalists are going to eat this shit up because it's about 90% walk and talk, puzzles, and just, you know, non-gameplay segments. So they love this type of game. It is not surprising that it got nominated. But honestly, I think just about any other game on this list deserves to win more so than Alan Wake 2, simply for the bugs and issues that the game launched with. But on top of that, it's a pretentious, boring walking simulator that has a convoluted story for the sake of it being overly complicated to act like the writer is a lot more intelligent than he actually is. But moving on from there, we have Baldur's Gate 3. Now, I've heard really good things about this. It is not a game that personally I would like. I'm not a huge fan of these super narrative heavy games that, you know, the gameplay kind of falls second to. I understand that a lot of people like that style of gameplay. I personally do not. I've seen gameplay for it. It looks absolutely miserable, and it seems like something I would probably get bored of in 2 to 3 hours. But, you know, I can appreciate the game for what it is. And on top of that, journalists will love this game because there's not a lot of, you know, intense gameplay to it. It's primarily a story-focused game. And on top of that, there is a shitload of woke and political messaging in this game that they will absolutely eat up. I would say that Baldur's Gate 3 has the most realistic chance of winning Game of the Year out of all of these games. And honestly, it would not surprise me if this game took home the gold, baby. So next up, we move on to Spider-Mid 2, another buggy, broken game that should have never released in the state that it did. But, you know, it does toe the political line and promotes the message. So, of course, journalists are going to eat that shit up. But honestly, I feel like Final Fantasy 16 or Hogwarts Legacy should have taken Spider-Mid 2's spot. Spider-Mid 2 really does nothing differently. In fact, I think most people would agree that it's a massive downgrade story-wise from the original PlayStation 4 Spider-Man title. So I don't really know why this game is up there other than for the political bullshit that they put into the game, and journalists love that shit. So moving on, we have the most controversial addition to this list, which is Resident Evil 4 Remake, which personally, I don't really have an issue with remakes being up there if it's a large enough remake. The Dead Space remake, I don't think was a big enough overhaul to like warrant being qualified for this, but I think in the case of Resident Evil 4, it definitely is because they completely redid this game from the ground up. I mean, yeah, it's similar to the original, but the entire tone of the game has changed. They redid a lot of the dialogue, level design, the combat mechanics. Like, a lot lot of this stuff has been massively improved and updated to the point where you could make the case that it genuinely is pretty much a new game at this point. So I don't really have an issue with it being on the list, and I think this would be a great game to win Game of the Year because not only is it extremely gameplay centric, but you know, overall it just seems to be a really solid game overall that pretty much everyone seems to enjoy who is a fan of the Resident Evil franchise and the original Resident Evil 4 as well. So I think Capcom definitely deserves some flowers for that one. So I would have no problem with this one winning Game of the Year. So moving on, we have my personal favorite game on this list, which is Super Mario Wonder, which this game absolutely blew me away. I am not a 2D or 3D Mario fan whatsoever, and I absolutely love this game. Every single level in this game is so unique. It has so much depth. Every single stage, bro, has like 2 unique gimmicks to it that are completely different from every single other stage in the game. Like, the amount of love, care, creativity that went into Mario Wonder is absolutely insane. It may look like a simplistic kiddie game on its surface, but it is some of the most fun you will ever have in your gaming life. And as someone who's not even a fan of 2D Mario games or Mario in general, I absolutely fucking love this game, and I would love to see this game win Game of the Year personally, just because I enjoyed it so much when I played it. So our final nominee for Game of the Year 2023 is none other than Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, in a normal year, this would be the absolute dead set choice for Game of the Year. I think it would be just undeniably so, but unfortunately, in a year where Baldur's Gate 3 and Alan Wake 2 came out and scored similarly in critical reviews, you know, a game like Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom that is a pure gameplay experience and does not force a bunch of political bullshit into it is probably going to get snubbed, in all honesty, which, you know, I would be perfectly fine with this game winning because I 100% understand why people love this game. But, you know, when you put it up against Baldur's Gate 3, which, you know, that's probably its biggest competitor right now. I think Baldur's Gate 3 probably is the most likely to win, but compare Tears of the Kingdom to Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 has way more political and woke messaging in it than Legend of Zelda does, so obviously the game's journalists are going to go with the game that pushes forward the agenda as much as possible. So unfortunately, I do think Tears of the Kingdom is going to get snubbed this year. I think it definitely deserves to win over Baldur's Gate 3 simply for the fact that it puts gameplay over narrative, which is the most important factor when it comes to a fucking video game, God forbid. But we are dealing with games journalists who are a bunch of over-politicized dipshits who hate actually playing video games, so I would not be surprised if this game gets snubbed, unfortunately. And like I said at the beginning, Baldur's Gate 3 definitely has the biggest chance of winning. I think in my mind, I think that is the safe choice at this point. I think Zelda would be the runner-up, and then probably Alan Wake 2 is the third most likely, but we'll have to wait and see, man. How exciting. I'm just sitting on the edge of my seat. I can't wait to see which game wins Game of the Year, dude. Oh my god. But yeah, guys, none of this shit actually fucking matters. I don't give a fuck what wins Game of the Year. I mean, shit, dude. After The Last of Us fucking 2 won Game of the Year, yeah. Like, why does anyone put any fucking importance on this shit whatsoever, man? Like, come on now. Do something better with your time. I'm probably gonna end up streaming it just because I'm a content creator, so, you know, it's my obligation to stream all the fucking cringe and gay gaming events. So, yeah, I can't wait, dude. Yay! I'm so excited. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like on it. Let me know in the comment section below what your Game of the Year for 2023 is. I would, you know, be very interested to hear your take on it. I think for me, my top 3 favorite games I've played this year so far, which I haven't played everything, so it's subject to change, I guess, but top 3 for me are Mario Wonder, Final Fantasy 16, and Hogwarts Legacy. I think those are the 3 games I enjoyed the most that I've played thus far. So, you know, that list is always subject to change as I play more, because I'm planning on picking up a couple games I skipped over earlier in the year during Black Friday, so hopefully I can get some good deals on those, and I can give those a shot. But yeah, I think those are the 3 I'm going to go with for now. You know, Mario Wonder, Final Fantasy 16, and Hogwarts Legacy. But anyway, guys, if you did enjoy the video, drop a like on it. I'd greatly appreciate it. And as always, I do want to thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to check out this video and for all the recent support as well. You guys are the fucking best, and I really do appreciate it. And I will catch you guys next time.